Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Never a Doubt Podcast. I am Justin.
And I'm Tanner.
And we have a very special guest.
A very special guest.
Today, the leading voice in Husker football coverage. You've seen him on TV, you've heard him on the radio, you've read his books, and now he's joining us here on the Never a Doubt Podcast. Everyone welcome the creator of HuskerOnline, Sean Callahan!
Guys, this is an honor. I mean, I appreciate the invite.
Right back at you.
This is an honor for us.
To see the HuskerOnline logo back there, I feel like I'm watching you on my phone.
We're located in the beautiful Haymarket district here, and kind of funny, we're in the post office building. So like people are like, where's your office at? In the post office. Like literally
where you drop the mail.
So the third level up here, it is like the most bizarre combination of everything. I think there's about 8 psychiatrists. There's a slumlord landlord office up here, an insurance office, and there's Steve Sipple walking around. So
yes,
the man,
and he helps out in all of those spots.
You get a combination of people paying their rent, couples therapy going on, other therapy sessions going on, and then the entertainment of Sipple trying to walk down the hallway.
People crying about their childhoods in one room, and you guys in the other being like, "Well, we lost again."
Sorting through people's mail.
It's fun. We do our show. We've been up here since 2017. So 2018, I guess we've been up in this office. So it's been good for us, and it's evolved into more. I mean, it was just a straight podcast studio. And then YouTube has kind of become where you have to do it with the podcast element, which has been big for us. I've learned that this connects with as many people, not just in Nebraska, but around the world. I mean, I have Husker fans. Right. I mean, I was walking up in Vail, Colorado, on the top of a mountain, and a guy just says, "Hey, I'm listening to your podcast right now."
That's crazy.
Amazing.
My wife's like, "People are crazy."
He's just going down the mountain, just listening to you and Sip.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh my God, I'm listening to your show right now." And I mean, there are Husker fans everywhere.
It helps me work out longer. That's awesome. Though, good for you guys for shifting and because seriously. It's completely different than when you started. Now you got to learn all this new stuff.
Yeah. While we're on topic, what has that been like? What was that? I'm sure obviously you guys are like pros at it now, but what was that like when you first had to kind of recognize that shift and move over to what you're doing now?
I mean, our website is still our number one deal though. Like it's our subscribers and that, but you have to promote and connect with all levels of fans. I'm lucky that I'm a broadcasting major that did newspaper writing and worked for the Daily Nebraskan. So I learned how to report. I learned how to write, but I also learned production. I also learned, all the other skills I was running a radio board when I was 18 years old.
In the J school?
Yeah.
I did too. I was
shout out.
I interned for 1620 The Zone. I was the first intern at 1620 The Zone.
Wow. And
started reporting daily as a student on the radio with Kevin Kugler. And this was back in 2000. I mean, so
that's crazy.
I was lucky to get those skills early. So I was the first guy in Nebraska that did writing, that did TV and did radio all at the same time. And it was 25 years ago when a lot of that started for us and what I did. And it's kind of grown to where we're at with HuskerOnline. And, we're one of the largest websites in the country for any fan base. Right. One of the 5 biggest ones out there. And, if Nebraska wins, I think we'd be even bigger. I mean,
I was just going to say, do you ever dream of the day where we figure it out and things go well?
Oh yeah. I mean, volleyball and basketball and baseball, it's great, and softball when they're winning like they are now, but it doesn't even come close to football. And, we could just lead our show off about the nickel corner and we get 10,000 views and, Nebraska wins a big basketball game. If we lead with basketball, it doesn't get the same numbers. I mean, it's just different. I mean, Husker football connects so many people, and the interest level is unlike anything else, just with how educated the fan base is and how much they want to consume and they want to learn more. Yeah, if they could get it to the point where they're ranked and winning and, at a high level, I mean, who knows where this could all be.
Yeah. Right. Is there ever, just tough losses where you're like, I don't want to do this at all? Is there ever times where you're like, what's your emotional level at with the team is basically.
How are you connected to the team at this point in your career? Because you've been around it for so long.
Yeah. The hardest part is we've made it a point to read all the super chats, and that's become a part of the show. But it's kind of turned into
some say the best
episode
part of the show
of The Simpsons, where they're pranking the bar with Mo, the bartender, and he reads off these names with last names like Hawk.
Yeah, Sean, we have the clip. Hold.
Let's go to Mike Hawk. Can't wait to see you guys. His name's Mike Hawk. Sean, come on.
That one made us laugh our asses off.
Yeah, so the good news is
the last name Cider.
I mean, yeah. Just assume no one's name is Hugh or Mike. It's tricky. But man, is it funny. Great payoff for us listeners.
Yeah, so getting through the super chats after a loss can be exhausting, and it is. I mean, it's like a therapy session for Nebraska fans. And on the road, I travel with like an equipment kit, and we tried to do it with just kind of like not good equipment once, and we heard about it. We're like, oh God, we got to bring a real equipment, because if you try to lower the quality for traveling, people get pissed.
Of course, people are mad at everything.
Husker fans are mad
for the show,
especially after a loss. They're like, we need better quality.
Yeah, this camera sucks.
Not to blow up your spot, but I do remember also going back to the super chats. It looked like it appeared someone accidentally sent you $500. Was that ever followed up on? It was like $4.99 or something. And
I
knew
the guy. Whoa. I knew who he was.
Oh, okay.
Was a member of my fraternity.
Did he ask for it back?
No, it was legit. The thing about the super chats, it goes to On 3 and it goes to YouTube, but YouTube takes like 25 they take an ungodly percentage of a super chat.
That bums us out because we're trying to get to super chat.
We were looking forward to super chats. Now we got to pay 75%.
You get $1,000 of super chats. It's wild. I mean, it's kind of like you're a street corner performer and people are just throwing money in the hat.
You really are like Nebraska's Adam Schefter. Some might call you Adam Schonster. What is your screen time like? What do you ever get a break from like social media and Husker news?
Yes and no. I mean, but no. I mean, I just have such a routine every morning. I get up about 6. I probably do 20, 30 minutes while I'm laying in bed just to kind of check things. And then I get ready and I go downstairs, and I always joke our website's like a store. You got to open the store up, get it running for the day. And then I take my daughters to school, get a workout in. But it's like funny when you go work out just for like 1 hour, like something always happens, like a breaking story or this or that happens. I mean, it happens more often than you would think. But yeah, that's just part of the job. I mean, it just comes with it. I joke sometimes with Sipple, we're like priests that just, our job is to like go talk about Husker football to everybody.
You know what? You guys are like priests.
Husker priests.
Fun priest.
As Catholic boys, we agree. You guys are like priests.
You save
Imagine you two running a church. I'd start going again.
You'd save our Husker souls.
Have you guys ever heard of the Holy Ghost Husker Nights?
No.
So they've done these in the basement of a South Omaha church for over 50 years. And it was like Devaney and Osborne that used to go, and coaches. They still get some coaches that go, but Sipple and I and Jason Peter, I'm in charge of booking the events for them, and we had Grant Wistrom and Jason Peter go down together, and they can get anywhere from 100 to 250 people every Thursday night before every game.
Wow.
And it's
dang.
So that's like $10 to get in, and it's a la carte.
Oh, there's a cover for church?
Well, it's in the basement of the church. It's a fundraiser for
a fundraiser.
They're giving people Husker reconciliation.
Yeah.
They're forgiving them for saying awful things to their children when Nebraska lost.
Everything you've said. Yeah, they go to confession to talk about the crazy things they've screamed at the TV. I thought that would be like a priest with maybe like a Herbie Husker hat on instead of the Archbishop hat. All right, we don't need to get into. I'll cut all that out.
No, that's good. That's good.
Speaking of you guys being fired up and going to fun stuff like that, do you guys drink cranium every day?
I limit myself to 1, but I don't.
I can imagine 2 a day.
Sipple's done the 2 before, and maybe even 3. Robin, it's. I mean, I'm not just like BS. It's legit. Like
I want to try it. I wish it was out here.
Yeah.
we got to get them to maybe collab with you guys. They probably would.
Yeah, that'd be great.
They ship it. They'll ship it to you.
I would love
like
that.
If you saw how many cases I had in my office right now, hold on, let me see if I can turn this.
Yes, I would love to see the This is what fans want.
That's what the fans want.
That's exactly where my parents would have me put them after picking them up from Costco.
Well, we don't have room in the fridge for like 8. It's like 8 or 10 cases that they brought up here this last week, and like I can only put a couple cases in the fridge.
Yeah, you can't fully. You have no room for food. It's
Wait,
just
how
cranium.
is Sipple putting down 2 of those in one day?
He needs to not do that.
He's going to be causing his heart
to
problems.
McDonald's oftentimes 4 or 5 times a day to get coffee.
Oh, okay. Not double cheeseburgers.
He puts 5 Splendas in each coffee.
No.
We need to get him to see someone. I'm scared.
His heart is going to be
pretty much drinking cancer water. I mean,
Speaking of Sipple, how did you two meet?
Yes.
How did you start working together?
So we met, honestly, it was about 2002, 2001. We kind of became pretty close acquaintances, and he was at the Journal-Star. I was still a student. You know, Sipple's really good at like working people that have info and get to know them. And I started to get a lot of scoop and a lot of info at that age. So we became pretty tight. We talked all the time. My first paid full-time assignment was with Rivals. They sent me to the Alamo Bowl. And Sipple and I were out there early in 2003 for Bo Pelini's Alamo Bowl game. And we traveled together and we hung out in San Antonio for like the whole week together. There was also like a big brush up at like a team pregame party with Richie Incognito and the Michigan State players. Ooh. Where like a chair got thrown across the room.
By Richie?
By Richie, of course.
Richie chucked a chair.
Camera phones were a thing, it would have been unreal to capture that deal. But yeah, that was when we first got going, and we always joked, like, God, if we could ever work together, it would be unreal. We talk. I mean, even when we were working together, we talk almost every day. I mean, I talk. My wife will say like, she knows who I'm talking to every time we're on the phone.
That's us.
That's us. Hey,
she's like,
you guys
I know who you're talking to. But so
show me the phone.
On3 came to me in 2021, and Shannon Terry was launching On3, and he founded Rivals in 247 and hired me back in 2003, and the opportunity came to make this go, and I presented it to Sipple, and he didn't even hesitate. Like, he pretty much signed right away to come over, but then we had to be quiet about it for a whole year. Like it was May of 21, and we couldn't talk about that we were going to be working together, and nobody knew. It like stayed quiet maybe until like the last month. Right. So it was kind of a funny deal. Like, we were around each other, and it was just kind of like we kept quiet about it. But yeah, then he came over in 2022 with me here at On3, and it's been awesome for all of us. It's been great for Husker fans, and I know, like, for him, he's joked that doing the shows is kind of like rejuvenated his career, just to have like another way to get his content, because it's a lot harder to access premium newspaper content now. It's just different, than it used to be, and print papers aren't as big as they used to be. So for him, this has been a lot of fun.
And also, Sip cracks me up. I know he cracks both of us up. So it's like good that he did get that outlet to come and do that show, because it's like you guys clearly have like a rapport that we all like can see in your show, the way that you guys like, joke around with each other. So I think it's cool that opportunity came about, and that you're able to like pivot over into this new lane.
Yeah, talk about being on camera and all that stuff. That's a guy, thank God you put him on camera. That's 10 out of 10.
And then there's Robin. Robin's always so polished, and
right.
He's like a detective, just real put together.
So you and Sipple, I would say you guys hang out quite a bit outside of just working hours.
Yeah, do you guys hang out?
Not really. Like on the road, we travel together and have a blast. Like, every road trip we go on, that's kind of the highlight of the season. Like, we go travel Friday, and you get in town, get done what needs to get done, but you try to find like a great restaurant to go out to eat at wherever you go on that Friday night. And then you work the game Saturday, do the post-game show, and you're back at the airport. But when we're out of work, I mean, he's got his own family stuff. I've got 2 little girls. Right. I coach basketball, and I help coach soccer. Then my other daughter swims. So I'm at Devaney Center with her, because she practices at Devaney. And so it's a lot of juggling, but a lot of fun too.
I just picture Sip like riding a motorcycle in his free time. Like
he rode his motorcycle. He doesn't wear a helmet.
He has a motorcycle?
No. Oh yeah, he's got a Harley.
I did not know that.
Right on.
And he doesn't wear a helmet very often. So I give him
and
a
he's
hard
doing
time.
5 Splendas, no helmet. The guy's living on the edge.
2 craniums.
Doesn't he know he has a
He doesn't
huge
wear a
fan
seatbelt
base?
in the car. Every time you ride them, your
The
alarm
man's
goes
living
off.
in 1971.
Oh, yeah.
He's got to update his safety features. People care about him. He doesn't. Actually, you know what? He might be the perfect man. Now that I'm thinking about this, that sounds awesome.
Sip
I told him
sounds
his
so
refrigerator
cool.
is probably like an old jar of pickles and like 2-week-old Chinese food.
Sip sounds like an old detective from like the 70s. Like,
Yeah.
he's never home. He doesn't cook.
That's incredible.
But
Speaking of Sipple,
one
actually,
last thing about Sipple, and then we'll move on.
get in there.
So there was that we saw a clip of Sipple talking about how when Coach Frost called him for an opinion. I forget what it was about, but that he called him for an opinion on something.
The Oklahoma game.
Oklahoma game. Oh yeah, canceling the Oklahoma game. Does that happen often with you guys? Like, do coaches contact you about certain things?
Yeah, it can. I mean, and you just got to know, like, it's off the record if they're talking to you. Like, you can't just like go write it.
Right.
But it's more often than you think, especially if they trust you and trust your opinion. And, Sipple definitely over the years, I mean, I can't tell you how many different coaches and people he taught. Same with me. I mean, there's coaches that will reach out to you and talk to you all the time and want your opinion on stuff, but you just know, like, yeah, I can't write this. I can't use it, but it's good background to carry for things down the road. And sometimes they'll call you to vent and get mad. I mean, Sipple and Bo Pelini they probably talked as much as anybody did. And Bo didn't really speak to too many other people. So he would get the good and the bad of Bo, but they were pretty close. And there's been, I won't say what he said, but there are times during the season where he'll text Sipple watching Nebraska, and it's pretty funny.
To this day.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
yeah.
awesome. God,
that's
we
the thing
miss
about
Bo.
like the one. I mean, there's been a lot of coaches that have come and gone, assistants and head coaches. I mean, the one like good thing is you get to know a lot of these people, and so you have connections with lots of different coaches. Because unfortunately, a lot of guys have been fired here.
Right.
Yeah, that was going to be our next. Do you see the end of eras before it happens? Like, do you see what's about to come?
You can always feel it how they happen. Like when Solich got fired, you knew it wasn't going well with Peterson and him right from the get-go. Like, he changed the language in the assistant coach contracts where they weren't going to get paid if the head coach was fired. So, like, that was a huge red flag because generally you pay your coaches an additional year, and the coaches almost protested to not work until they got it worked out.
Oh, my gosh.
You knew right then and there, like, Solich was on thin ice, and then they were going to fire him. I mean, and I think the same thing was with Bo Pelini and Sean Eichhorst. I always wonder if they beat Minnesota in the 2014 year where they were up 17 in that game. Nate Gary blocked a field goal, ran it back. They should have won the game, and they lost. They would have been 10-2. Like, do you still fire Bo at 10-2? I mean, it felt like Eichhorst wanted to fire him, and Perlman did no matter what, though. Right. But the problem is they didn't really have a good succession plan. I mean, I think they went after Brett Bielema briefly, and I think Paul Chris got a call. Those are the names you knew about. Then they got to Mike Riley, and Mike Riley is a great man, but just was not a very good fit for the program in terms of what they needed at that moment in time. But just nothing bad to say against Mike Riley because he was very, very friendly. He was the nicest person you could ever meet. But yeah, with Scott Frost, the moment you kind of really, when they let go of Bill Moose and pushed him out, you knew what was going on there. And I wrote this in my book. I have a Scott Frost chapter in there. They fired Moose or pushed him out and paid him. Then they hired Trev Alberts, and they could have waited a day to let Frost get back from his, summer vacation. He's going to be back the next day from Colorado. Let him be a part of the press conference. Well, they didn't. They had the Trev Alberts football or press conference without Frost there. And then before the first game of that season, he kind of publicly embarrassed him about using that analyst, Jonathan Rutledge, the special teams analyst, over really nothing. But they made that a big deal. And then 3-9. But I do think Trev.
It's a big.
I do think Trev wanted to move on Frost at that point. But a lot of the money and support was not ready because the 3-9 team was a little misleading because they were so close in a lot of those games, but they still lost those games.
Right.
But then you get to Ireland, and it was
what happened in Ireland?
Did you guys go over there? You guys went over there, right?
I was there for the whole week. But yeah, I'll never forget, we were at practice at Aviva Stadium, and that was one of the last like lengthy chats I had with Frost. He was just talking to me, and then like Trev came over and joined us. It was just the three of us, and I'm like, oh boy.
Whoa.
And it was just pretty uncomfortable.
You puckered up a little bit.
Yeah, I was like, well, guys, I'm going to step away.
I'm going to go find Sipple.
Sipple's got 2 Guinnesses in his hands.
They went from like winning that game up 11. It was going to be awesome in Dublin that night.
Yeah.
To like blowing it on that
there.
onside kick. And then the whole thing changed. Then Georgia Southern came in and beat them. And at that point,
ugly.
They had to do what they did at that point. And here we are.
Yeah. Right. Did you know, was Trev leaving a surprise, or could you see that coming?
God, I mean, it was a surprise in the sense that he stayed at UNO for so long. And so he always struck me as a guy that was pretty loyal. I mean, because he probably could have left UNO, as my guess, over all those years he was there. Came to Nebraska, which you felt like was his dream job. They structured his contract to make him, I believe, one of the 5 highest paid ADs in the country, with essentially like full guarantee money for an extended length of time. I mean, he had everything he could have wanted here. But when Ted Carter left, I think that really changed things. And now we're learning a lot more about Ted Carter.
I was going to say, yeah.
Thank God he left.
Yeah, thank God he was out.
Yeah, Ted Carter had his own Vrabel type deal going on.
that dirty mold man.
But yeah, I think there's a lot more that was probably going on behind the scenes, and Trev saw the opportunity. But we interviewed Trev on our show that week. I was going on vacation it was like March, spring break, and we had him on right before I left, and then he left like a couple days later. I mean, it was.
And did he ruin your vacation?
Yeah, I was in Maui.
Your one break.
You're on your phone.
Hey.
Like, God damn it. I'll be back in 3 hours.
Hey, sorry about
the time
this.
difference is 5. I think it's 5 hours when you're there. And so 5 a.m. there, it's like 10 a.m. in Nebraska. I wake up and there's like 84 text messages on my phone. And some of them are like coaches at Nebraska from other sports. And one of them was like, what the F? Like, I mean, everyone was like this clue. But yeah, it was. That day was crazy in that sense because I wasn't around to be there to cover it. But then I'm like on like a whale watching boat, and I parked a rental car it was like a pier in Wailea, and I parked this rental car in what I thought was a spot. And I guess they had all these digital meters, and I didn't pay for digital meter. I just parked on like along the rocks.
Oh, no.
And they towed my car within like 15 or 20 minutes. Like, we're on the boat, and my daughter's like, hey, I think that's our car, Dad.
Where's
I go,
the
no,
car?
it's not. No, it's not. We get back, and I have to like figure out where my car's at.
Your phone's blown up. Trev's leaving. You're like, God.
And I mean, it's like underground Maui type stuff where I'm dealing with some guy via text message. He tells me how much money it is to get my car back. And this is the cash price. This is the credit card price. Well, I'm sure as hell not giving this guy my credit card. So then he goes, you're going to go to this area and your car will be there. And
this area, they don't even call it a tow yard.
And it's just like
we
this
put them over there.
In inland area with Rottweilers and pit bulls.
Wild chickens. There's chickens everywhere in Maui.
There's this little guy. I want to say his name was Pablo. And he had no teeth.
Pablo was like, you hear about Trev?
Pablo straight up just jacked your car and made you pay to get it back.
And Pablo was like a little guy. But then the guy I was dealing with pulls in like a Mercedes and gets out of the back seat to collect our $300 or $200, whatever it was. So that was all going on as the Trev stuff was happening. And
that's ridiculous.
That was a mob boss that was extorting you just to get
more. We got
more.
extorted in Maui. And I remember
that'll go in your next book.
Donovan Raiola from Hawaii, and I told him that story, and he's like, "That's Hawaii." I mean, there's more of that.
He's like, that's my uncle.
Because there's more of that you got to deal with there than you think.
Well, I think it's fair to send Trev an invoice for all that because I feel like he caused that all to happen. Oh man, extorted in Maui.
So when things like, when coaches are like, when things are appearing rocky, like, because it's been happening for so long, like what would you like attribute that to? Like, why does it seem like we can't, like Nebraska has such a hard time?
And is it the fans' fault?
Yeah, is it our fault?
Do we have too high of expectations and we ruin people's experience?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of layers to it. Number one, the conference is a lot deeper and better than what we've ever dealt with. You know, like that's, you got to start there. There's no like free Saturdays anymore in the Big Ten. But yeah, I think the constant regime changes and things that we've done, it's kind of just continued to reset things. The development has been lost. So particularly on the line of scrimmage, you know, there just hasn't been a lot of great line development, consistent. I mean, they've had some good linemen, don't get me wrong, but to win in this league, like Iowa on draft weekend here, they're projected to have like 10 guys drafted.
That's crazy.
I hate that.
And that sucks.
And you look at that, it's very sobering. But I think it's a combination of a lot of different things. And I do think the pressure of the fans, like it maybe causes the coach to do things or react differently. I'm trying to remember, okay, the Maryland game in Rhule's first year, he got like really criticized for Chubba Purdy trying to throw a touchdown pass instead of just kicking the 3 points. And he threw a pick. And they lost the game to Maryland, which would have got them the bowl eligibility. Well, then the next week, they're at Wisconsin. It's similar situation, night game, Chubba Purdy. And you're like, all right, go for the win here. Get the win in Madison. We've never won in Madison. Let's get the win. And they played it safe and kicked the 3 points to go to overtime. We lose in overtime. And that's one where you're like, all right, the loud pressure you got from how you played the game before led you to maybe play it like you didn't want to, but you felt the pressure and played that Wisconsin ending differently. And Rick Kaczynski, who coached at Iowa and he coached at Nebraska,
I remember
he told me that the difference at Iowa was like you didn't have a lot of people that really like cared about how you recruited or what you were doing. They just believed in your process. Where at Nebraska, when you like recruit a guy, you have to swing for the fence on every recruit. And so it adds like an added pressure where Kirk Ferentz can take some kid from Norfolk, like Ethan Piper right now, or Cade Pieper, he's 240 pound, 250 pound guy. Now he's an all Big Ten lineman. And, like their system allows that, where I feel like the pressure to continue to win and do what we do here, like it makes it harder at Nebraska sometimes because coaches don't feel like they have the time to develop and maybe see a guy through. And with the NIL era, we may never see that type of recruiting anymore anyway, because people are just trying to get ready to go players.
And then combine that with the not winning a lot for a while. My biggest thing is like just players nowadays just like jumping ship and they're giving up so easily. So I feel like a guy like Rhule, who is like known for building rosters, I feel like he can't even do what he's best at anymore.
When I think what's different from when he did it at Baylor and Temple, college football is a lot different now than it was back then. Right. And he tried to do it that way when he first got here, taking these really big high school classes with some guys that you were taking a chance on. And I don't know if you can go that route as much as you did before, where last year, what did we see, 10, 11 high school recruits? And when you recruit high school players, you try to find immediate impact ones. Like Luke Sorensen's going to play this year as a tight end as a freshman. Claude Mpuma is already a number 2 left tackle. Danny Odom is going to play as a corner. So that they've brought in some pretty good kids in that small class, but that's what it's going to be more of. You can't necessarily just take a bunch of guys that, hey, we're going to let this guy develop for 3 years. You just don't have that luxury anymore.
Right.
Do you feel, because I feel like we've talked about it a few times, the expectations, the offseason national championship is not existing right now. Do you feel that shift is good for us? Because Tanner thinks that might be a good shift, and hopefully he's right.
Yeah, this is one of the first times where a season's ended as poorly as it has for Nebraska, in a year 3 or year 4 of a coach, where the coach is back. Like, we had been so conditioned where, hey, if the season just fell apart at the end of the year like it had last year, we changed coaches and we just have gotten in this cycle. And then, what coaching changes then do create off-season national championships where every new coach comes in and you get the weight room video of the new coach. And
God, we're suckers for it.
It's such a repeated cycle, and we fall for it every time.
Like, they're doing mat drills right now, and I haven't seen a video of mat drills, but the first year mat drills, it was like in Memorial Stadium in the snow. They're pushing sleds.
Oh, yeah. I was like, the 90s are back, baby. Look how strong our team is.
I mean, there's Elliott Brown pushing a sled.
Dude, oh my God, they were ripped.
And now they're not doing that. So I'm like, well, why is it changing?
I kind of like it. One quick prediction, and maybe you don't have an answer for this. Do you think Matt Rhule is going to continue the podcast, or do you think he's stepping away from all of that stuff?
It feels like he's stepped away, but I haven't heard one way or the other. There hasn't been a show though since the week before the bowl game.
Oh, we know.
We were on it.
Oh, you guys were guests.
Not guest yet. No, not before you guys. Have you guys been guests?
No, guys I work with, Andy Staples and Ari Wasserman went on there. And yeah, I get what he was doing, but I think he reads the room well, and he's like, it's probably not what he wants to be focusing on at this point. He's trying to win, and he faces the toughest schedule that they've had since he's been here.
Yeah. No, we just had a dumb song we sang about him eating a Chick-fil-A sandwich. And they played it at the end. And so we weren't actually on it.
But we were the last official moment on Rhule's podcast. If it never comes back, did we ruin it? Yeah. I think we ruined his podcast.
It'd be a tough look for the show. But
they've got big numbers though. Like I follow the YouTube views and numbers, and he pulled some really big view numbers on that.
I mean, he's good at that stuff.
But I think, when you look at the rest of college football, you're like, you just don't see really any coaches doing that. So I feel like once we finished the season the way we did, it was like, ugh.
Well, if we would have won a lot, he would have been seen as a genius. I mean, he's the greatest man in football.
Well, I think he was just trying to be more of a CEO, hands off. I mean, you have Holgerson running the offense, you have your D coordinator on the defense. He's not a play caller, so it was just kind of his way to promote and get out there. But yeah, you got to win games, and he knows that as much as anybody. He wants to. I mean, he's as competitive as anybody. He wants to win, and he watches everything. I wouldn't be surprised if he watches this. He pays attention, and
I would cry.
Well, if he's watching, we love him and we wish him the best. And go Big Red. We're pro Matt Rhule on the show. Yeah. We don't trash.
We're not hating.
We support all coaches. We may yell at the television, but
I remember when Riley got hired, I was like, who the hell is Mike Riley? But then literally a day later, I was like, all right, he's our coach.
A day later, we were doing hip hip hooray. Something we would never do in normal life. But if the Husker
Mike
head
Riley,
coach does it, we do
Prius
it.
For a car.
No.
And you know what? If we would have known that would have been our new favorite car. We would have been defending Priuses. They're actually great on gas.
They're good for the environment. But while we're still talking about coaches, I wanted to ask you, Sean, what is the most uncomfortable moment you've had with a Husker coach?
When Bo Pelini first got here, somehow, some way, like it was painted to him that I was like enemy number one.
What?
Who did that? Sipple did that. Sipple did that as a prank.
I don't, because I was kind of looked at as cutting edge. I was the wild internet reporter, and not the traditional media. And anyway, I was a sideline reporter, and I was only the sideline reporter for Bill Callahan's last year that I was removed from the broad. They said they made cuts. So I was Adrian Fiala and I were taken off the football broadcast. But I used to do like the halftime. I was the first Husker sideline reporter to do the halftime interview. So I had to do Bill Callahan's interviews on that 2007 year during the game. And if you can find the USC game, like when they show the ABC part, you can see me like running with Bill Callahan because he was trying to run away from me.
You're like, we have the same name. He's like, I know. Quit bringing it up.
And I asked him like, what happened? Like, what happened at the end here? What do you got? And he goes, we just got to do a better job. But anyway, back to Bo. Like, so when he got here, we had a Husker Sports Network Christmas party, and it was at Misty's.
Oh, boy.
That sounds awesome.
The assistant coaches were there because they were staying at the Embassy Suite. So like, it was like Barney Cotton and John Papuchis, like two guys I got to know really well over the last several years. And I had never met Papuchis, but we had a lot of common acquaintances. I got his number, and then I reached out to him and I called him, and he was at LSU. They were getting ready for the bowl game, but I just wanted to connect with him on something. And anyway, he's like, hey, can't talk right now. I'll call you back. Well, then later I get a call and it's Pelini, and he just lights me up and tells me to stay the F away from his coaches. If I ever get wind of you calling my coaches or talking to them again, you're effing done. You are effing done. And I'm like, what are you talking? I'm like, but that's how. And then that I talked to his coaches throughout his whole 7 years. I mean, it wasn't, but that's how he was. Like he could blow up over nothing. And I was.
That was right when he got there.
Yes, it was like he was getting ready to coach whatever the bowl game was that they were playing for the national championship.
God, you had just finished eating a ribeye. You're like, Coach, I'm stuffed.
Quit yelling at me.
And my roommate at the time, he was a college basketball coach back then and he's just like, yeah, that guy doesn't seem like he's messing around. I'm like, no.
That was like the mentality he had his entire tenure too. Because when I was in school, I was an intern for Husker Vision. And I remember I had to go down to a practice one day because I would like help shoot stuff for like the Nebraska football show features. And I remember being down there and I look across the field and Bo was just staring at me because I had this big camera with me. And he didn't say anything to me, but the look in his eyes just scared the living daylights out of me. I was like, he wants me out of here so bad. He's just not going to come over here and say it to me.
Yeah, you knew what kind of mood like when he was in a great mood, he was awesome, like talk your ear off. But if you had him on the wrong day, and look, Bo, and I really respected Bo and the job he did here and whatnot. But yeah, he had like encounters like that. It wasn't common that he would do that. He was also, I mean, he took his kids to school every morning when he was here.
Right.
Drove through Starbucks, took his kids to school. I was like his routine.
Take a mocha latte. I'll get the cake pop and the
Bo Pelini ordering like snacks.
They were the kind of they were like your old school Catholic family, like when you're going on vacation, like the dad that's like, we got to find where the mass is at. I mean, They were always they every time you would go to St. Peter's Church or people would be on the road for AAU battle. Like Bo was at my church. I mean, they were like he was as devout of a Catholic as you'll ever meet, and
seemed like a
gave
good
a ton
man.
of money to Lincoln Pius.
That's awesome.
I know it was instrumental in the Newman Center, and the altar that's in there came from Youngstown, and he was a part of getting that there and paying for that. So he did a lot of good that doesn't get probably much light shed on it, but he could fly off the handle.
Yeah.
I mean, that's someone I would love to meet one day.
Right.
Speaking
all of his
he
players
probably wouldn't come. I'd say he'd come on with you, but he doesn't really do much.
No.
Like what he doesn't want to do.
The ones he's done are great, like on Will Compton's show, and then he's done like a Barstool podcast. He talked about like the Big 12 championship game and stuff. He seems like a great dude. I want to talk to him one day.
One day.
Speaking of Bo, I mean, great moments, but also terrible, painful moments for his and Callahan and everyone who's ever coached our team. We want to give you the most painful moments. We want to give you 5 painful moments, and if you can pick the worst one, and then we'll go to best because we won't be all doom and gloom on the show. But we singled out 5 moments here, and
read them off to you, and you're going to give us your worst.
And then if we missed one, if you're like, oh, I have one that's even worse than all of these. But these are ones that stand out specifically to us as a child. The first one on the list is the Lakeven Smith interception, then immediately fumbling it against Texas Tech.
In 2004?
That was, for context, that was during my birthday. We went to a game. My family's had season tickets forever, so it was right in front of our seats. It was the happiest and saddest birthday of my life. I thought we were going to win. We fumbles it, and then they immediately beat us. So that's number 1, Lakeven Smith fumble. Number 2, Terrence Nunn fumble
against Texas in 06.
I was hoping this one made the list because that's up there for me.
That was it. We had the game just hold on. That was terrible. I went with my dad, of course, again. It was awful. They did a half attempt at a blackout. The student section just did it. It looked kind of weird, but it was cool. We should have won. That's number 2. Number 3 is the Big 12 championship against Texas.
We all know what happened.
That was the also worst night of my life. Number 4, the BYU Hail Mary in the Riley era, which Tanner reminded me that was his first game.
Wasn't that his first game as coach?
Yes, Mike Riley's opening game with BYU.
God, that really set the tone.
And then this one is the 2021, I believe it's 2021 Michigan game, the Frost era.
Adrian Martinez fumbled it, and we should have won the game.
That was especially because we have two good friends who are Michigan men, and that was such a fun game too. It felt like, man, that was going to be it.
Frost's moment to break through.
That was tough because you could see the genius of his offense in that game. And Michigan had better players than Nebraska in a lot of areas, but his schemes outflanked them. Like you've got, was it Levi Falk? I mean, you got like a portal receiver from South Dakota, like just spraying wide open and scoring. Like he just knew. I mean, he was elite at like on the go. And this is during the Connor Stallion era. I mean, they knew the plays.
Yes,
right.
Scumbags.
And he's still outsmarted.
Truly, that's the even impressive. Yeah, that should have been his moment. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Which one?
The one that are you done with the games? Or is there one more?
That's all of them.
It.
I know the Big 12 championship with Texas should be up there, but the game against Texas and Lincoln with the Nunn fumble is up there for me because of what it would have meant. I still think the 06 team was one of the best teams in terms of talent that Nebraska had since like the Rose Bowl team. You know, you had Zach Taylor, Big 12 Player of the Year. You had Sue, but you had Jay Moore. You had Adam Carricker. You had Stu Bradley. You had Steve Octavian. You had Zach Bowman.
Brandon Jackson.
Didn't Marlon Lucky throw a touchdown past that
Glenn
game?
Played running back. I mean, you were Maurice Purify. I mean, that team. Even Matt Harrion was a part of that team. You know, in a limited role, but that team was really good. And they lost that game. They blew a huge lead in Stillwater, lost to Oklahoma State. And then, you know, you go to Arrowhead for what a lot of people still recall as one of the coldest games ever, but it was completely sold out, like 80,000 people in Arrowhead Stadium. And you fumble like the opening play of the game. You know, it was a play to Purify, and Oklahoma jumped up on us. We still almost won the game, Nebraska. But yeah, that Texas game, because that was the defending national champions. You got to remember that. The year before, that was the Vince Young team.
Yes.
And so to get that win, and if you remember, Congdon was our kicker, and they couldn't kick the ball deep into the wind. So it allowed Texas to get a lot of kick returns in field position, and that played a factor in them winning the game. And Callahan was so upset about that lack of leg strength that they went on just a mission to find the kicker that had like the strongest legs for kickoffs in the country, and that's how they came across Adi Kanalik.
Shout out. We messaged him to be on the show. Still hasn't responded. Great guy, though, it seems. Loved him as a player.
I mean, if you go back and watch his high school film, he was like kicking the ball over the concession stand. You know, like high school football fields have the concession stand kind of behind the goalpost. He was like kicking it over the concession stand. But that he was so angry, and they found Adi Kanalik, and then Adi Kanalik like led the country in touchbacks. And that's when the kickoffs got moved back for a while. They were kicking from the 30. That game had a lot to it, but they gave Texas such good field position on a few kick returns because Congdon didn't have the leg, and you had Alex Henry on the bench on that team too.
In which we're gonna get to him too, because we're gonna go into the 5. We're gonna have you pick the best Husker moment. We got 5 here, and there's obviously plenty more. So if you got any, throw them in. But the 2008 Colorado game where Alex Henry makes the 57-yarder, and then Sue has the pick 6 to end the game, incredible. 2024 Colorado blowing them out. Dion came in. There was a lot of hype. We beat them down badly. K-State game, T-Magic's big breakout in Manhattan in 2010 it was, I think. The Ohio State comeback. We all know what happened there with Rex Burkhead. And then throwing a Riley moment, the Michigan State upset in Lincoln when they were number 6 in the country, I believe.
So we're doing like post-title era.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
you can't be like Tommy Frazier this play. Tommy Frazier that
could you
play.
imagine? Could you imagine if that's what we presented you? The Tommy Frazier run, the Matt Davidson kick.
Yeah, the Johnny Rogers punt return. Or the Mike Riley win over Michigan State.
Yeah, we're keeping those out. We're talking more modern era.
Yeah.
The post-title era. That's my reference for anything beyond 01, because it's kind of a different era of the program. But the Colorado game is pretty hard to beat just because the situation that they were in, the field goal never should have been 58 yards. Like they took a penalty and a sack, and they like totally mismanaged that drive. And it put them in a spot where it was like 4th and 30, or it was a crazy amount of yardage they had to do. So they couldn't go for it on fourth down, because if it was 4th and 8, they might have just went for it and tried to get 9 yards. But they were like 4th in a country mile. So it was either punt or kick the field goal or go for it. And they kicked the field goal, and, he nailed it. I mean, that was one of the most clutch kicks, and it got us to the gate. I mean, at that time, that was a big deal to get to the Gator Bowl. It was a New Year's Day bowl game in Jacksonville, Florida, and 25,000 Nebraska fans went down to that game, and that kick got us. And then you got the Sue moment, which really sparked, I felt like, his career at that point, because he was coming off an ACL injury the previous year, and he came back quicker than expected. So he wasn't all the way 100% until like November of the 08 year.
Yeah, God.
That moment, I saw the kick. I was at that game.
I was too.
My dad wanted to beat traffic, Sean, so I missed the Sue moment.
No way.
But we were walking to the car, and just hearing the pop of it,
was
we were
insane.
like, "What happened?"
So you're the guy that left at communion. You didn't stay for the final blessing.
And that's what he does that at church too. I go, it's fine. The car's going to be where it is. There's no traffic. We live in Omaha. But anyway, I missed that
in
moment.
North end zone where the kick. I watched the kick.
I saw the kick.
I jumped so high.
Yes.
I came down, slipped off the bleachers, and like smashed my shin into the bleacher. It hurt so bad, but I did not care.
I was at a Chiefs game last year, and it's the game where they beat the Broncos, where they blocked the field goal, and the Broncos were kicking to win the game. The Chiefs were up by like 1 or 2. And I was so mad because the Chiefs played poorly. And I told my wife, I go, let's just go. I don't want to see the Broncos make this kick. She says, no, we got to stay. And then they blocked it. I mean, it was unbelievable.
But you have to stay.
You have to always stay, Dad. He will be watching this. I love him, and shout out to him, but that sucked.
So I had one more tidbit in regards to Colorado. So obviously we know the famous 2001 Colorado game and the fallout that happened after that. I know you were young and you hadn't been working for the team that long at that point, but did you recognize in that moment the trouble that we were in, or was it more so 2002 when we wore these bad boys and we went 7 and
and we were like just holding up stuff for a minute.
And we went 7 and 7.
Press box for the 01 game. So I was there covering that game. It would have been for 16-20 the zone at that point. But yeah, I don't think he just kind of looked at it as fluky. But Colorado recognized that they didn't think our safeties and our back end of the defense was that physical. So they started running downhill at what we were doing. But yeah, the way the Colorado game ended and then the Miami game, Nebraska football, this is really sobering when you put it in perspective. Following the 01 Rose Bowl, Nebraska football has only been ranked inside the top 5 for a grand total of 1 week. Ugh. And before 01, obviously they were a staple in the top 5. So that is kind of a mile marker. But then the Miami game was really kind of like the eye-opening moment, because I don't think people thought, like, maybe they thought we could lose, but get throttled, and that Miami team was so good.
Can I ask you real quick? Do you know how these uniforms got approved? How did these happen?
I don't know. I can give you a little tidbit about Apex. You guys familiar with the brand Apex? Because they were Nebraska's apparel fitter for like 6 months.
6 months.
Wow, they fumbled that deal.
I wrote about this in my 100 Things Nebraska book, just kind of the history of how it all played out. And they Nebraska had just like Russell for like their jerseys, like back, and then they got good in '94, and then they signed this deal with a little known company called Apex, and so Apex for the Orange Bowl provided gear, and then in '95 they were going to wear Apex, and the problem was Apex overextended itself and went under. And so in the middle of the season, like week 4 or 5 of '95, you're outfitting like the top team in college football. They went under. Wow. And so then Adidas swooped in the early '95 season, and they switched to Adidas, and that they became the first football Adidas school at that point.
What a nightmare. That phone call. Hey, we're not going to be able to do any of the stuff we said.
You see like Osborne wearing like the Apex hat and some of those things.
I remember the logo.
God,
that's crazy.
Can you imagine how embarrassing that had to be?
That's the word. That's what I mean. You got to be you call him.
Guys. Yeah, maybe just hit.
And then we went on that run. They were probably like, oh my gosh,
Apex could have been huge, guys.
Yeah. I could have had Apex shoes on right now.
I'll tell you what's huge now for like apparel for Husker fans. And it's on our show, but rollback. Like you can't buy a rollback in a store.
Yeah.
But you literally see every like middle-aged, like college kids wear it too. I think
it's that little dog or duck. What's the logo? Is it a dog or is it a duck? We will take a sponsorship.
I think Portnoy is like one of the silent owners of it. But they've got like you see that gear on more Husker. Like it used to be like you had to buy like the coach's polo from Shields.
Yes.
Like, everybody looked like they were coaching when you go to the game.
You ever rock one of those coaches polos? I tried once. It didn't look good.
We have the Husker Online stuff that, but yeah, we can get a lot of different things made.
That's another apparel question. You guys don't wear Husker colors all the time. Is that a discussion?
No, yeah. I mean, it's just kind of a professional thing. Like
really, to not wear it.
You don't see media members like wear like gear.
Well, especially if you go to like Colorado, you don't want anyone to know where you're from. Just scumbags of the earth throwing stuff at you.
Where's your red? I'm like, guys, like you just don't see the media in any press box doing that.
Yeah.
In fact, you can get thrown out of a press box if you cheer.
What, really?
Yeah, no, you have to shut up. I remember at Huskers and they told us they're like, don't ever like show any emotional reaction.
I mean, it makes sense. Yeah. Do you smash any Valentinos or Runza at the game? Speaking of press box, watching the game, you guys sneak any food up there?
Mean, you get kind of burnt out of Valentinos because I get it 3 times a week if I want during football season. So on football Saturdays after the game, they have Valentino's pizza, and that's actually the best version of it because it's hot and it's fresh and like the cheese still kind of has that goo.
Yeah.
I kind of like when it's stuck to the cardboard. I kind of like one that's been sitting there for a bit.
But then on Tuesdays, or I guess it's Mondays, we have the press conference with Coach Rhule, and then they have Valentino's pizza at that.
They feed you guys at the press conference?
They have pizzas, yeah. And then,
that'd be
then
great.
On Tuesdays, I do Big Red Wrap Up. And
I was just going to bring that up. I used to do Big Red Wrap Up. We were in the call center. I think they got rid of it. But do they still do that? Do they still give you pizza?
Yeah, I think the Fijis used to run the call center.
Yeah, I was.
You're looking at one.
You're looking at one.
King
but
Fiji
they don't
over
do
here.
the call center anymore.
Damn,
because people don't call in. But yeah, so then they have so we have Valentino's on Tuesday, and it's gotten where like Damon Benning, Jay Moore, Michael Severe, and I, they give us our each custom ordered Val's pizza, and we've all made the shift to the thin crust Val's. It's
what? I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, and I don't know if Michael Severe claims the Omaha locations don't do that, but Lincoln has a thin crust Val's, and you get like the goodness of like the toppings without like feel like you're eating a loaf of bread.
Yeah. Yes, it is a full loaf.
I remember one time I picked up a phone in the call center and it's just an old woman. She goes, "Why is the N on the field purple?" And I was like, "Ma'am, the N on the field is not purple. I don't know what you're looking at." But she was like, it's purple on my TV. I was like, "It might be your TV, ma'am."
It's time to go to Best Buy, ma'am. You need coupon.
Speaking of pizza, though, you ever eat Lazzari's? Because I used to work there in college.
I
loved it.
So I knew Greg List and Seth and
shout out
Neil, rest in peace. I mean those guys, and Matt Verzal, rest in peace. I mean all great guys that that they were. I mean they owned the bar. Then they had a place next to Lazzari's called the Downtown.
Yep. I spent many a nights in there, Sean.
It was
too many.
We had to drag him out of there.
Like Amigos downtown is no longer, but that was also like a prime spot. And there was a sheriff named Woody, and he was like the off-duty cop in Amigos for like 25 years. And so like literally everybody felt like Woody was like their uncle, and like he de-escalated so many situations because you would get a combination of drunk college frat people and party people and then like street crowd that would roll in there, and it could create some interesting
I think I remember Woody.
It's a snake in his boot.
But yeah, Woody was a legend at the Downtown Amigos for decades. But yeah, Lazzari's was, you can't beat that. Yeah, now they're in South Lincoln.
I know. I was so depressed when they said they were closing. I was like, no.
What do you?
O Street staple.
Yeah, they were great. What about La Casa? Do you like them? I feel like that's hit or miss.
That's my favorite, actually.
Yes, us too.
Hamburger, both cheeses.
Yeah.
You're speaking my language. We brought some people back that aren't from Nebraska, and they're like, don't know why you're talking such a big game about this. And we're like, well, it's not for you. It's for us.
It's for us. We know it.
I took my wife on our first date at La Casa's Leavenworth.
That makes me like it even more. They should give you your own booth there. You go back on anniversaries. That's the Sean booth.
I would probably go to the Grover Street one the most because my grandma lived over that way. But it's when you're flying into Omaha Airport and driving back to Lincoln, like a clutch move. You get to the parking garage of the Omaha Airport.
I love this.
Order your pizza while you're in there, and then buzz off the interstate. You got a pizza. Take it back to Lincoln with you.
Sean, everything you're saying, this is our language. Also, going back to when you guys go on the road and you pick what nice dinner you're going to, I am so embarrassingly invested in that. I'm like, oh, those steaks are gonna be awesome.
So our Vegas one was top of the line. And so the Goin family is an Omaha family that essentially started and developed downtown Las Vegas, all the casinos and all the everything. And they own the South Point Casino still to this day, which is one of the busiest casinos in Las Vegas. It kind of gets all the locals more. And
my family has a timeshare there they cannot get out of. We enjoy it, but it's a place right next to South Point. For years they tried getting rid of this thing. I think we still have it. Anyway, go ahead.
The Goin family reached out to me, and we're in Vegas, and invited us all to go eat at Michael's restaurant inside the South Point, which it's like one of the nicest restaurants. You go in this place, and I mean, you have like 7 servers at your table, and they comped our whole meal. It was like a $1,400 check for 5 people.
Oh,
sheesh. Well, they should.
You deserve it. Good. That's awesome.
Especially after what just happened in the game after that.
Oh, it was before the game.
Oh, is it?
Oh, yeah.
But Sipple just gets like blown away. He's just like, whoa. Andy Kendi was with us from Channel 7. And
Shout out.
Sean, I have a funny story regarding KETV. I'm going to tell you real quick because I used to work there. It was my first job out of school. I worked there for 3 months. I was not cut out for news. And this is probably a big reason why. So I start my job at KETV. I worked there for 3 days to get trained. And then I had to get my wisdom teeth taken out. So they're all right. They're like, come get trained, work here. Like, we'll train you for a few days. You can do that and then come back when you're ready. So on my 3rd day of post wisdom teeth, you take drugs. I've been taking hydrocodone to deal with the pain and whatnot. They asked me on the 3rd day, they're like, do you think you're ready to come back tomorrow? And I was like, yeah, I think I'll be all right. So I come back, I do a story, goes great, it's completely fine. And as I'm about to come back to the station, they're like, there's a house fire. We need you to go now. And I was like, on it. They sent me the location. And to be quite frank with you, I still was feeling a little out of it. I was like, I maybe should have taken one more day. I was like, I don't feel quite 100% right yet. I'm driving, and I get to the neighborhood. I'm looking down streets trying to find this house.
That's on fire.
I don't see any fire, but what I do see is a car that had stopped right in front of me. I rear end this car. And I have to call the news station. I call, and the news director at the time, he answers, and I was like, hey, bad news. I just wrecked a car. And he was like, shit. That was his reaction. But I get out of the car. The guy I hit gets out of his car. It's a man with a ponytail, and he looks right at me, and he goes, you were on your phone, weren't you? And I was like, no, even worse, drugs. And that was my KETV story. I didn't last much longer after that.
The HR investigation was pretty...
He worked there for like 3 months. He crashed a car and quit.
Yeah, they don't... I mean, the station vehicle stuff is a big deal at those stations. I mean, like...
Yeah.
I've heard
a lot of guys over the years, that have gotten in trouble with a station vehicle type incident.
I mean, he almost made him the next Apex. Took him under.
But yeah, it was luckily when I got back, they're like, you're okay. That's great. They're like, don't worry about it. We have great insurance. It'll be taken care of. But I was like, yeah, this is the most embarrassing work story I've ever had. I worked here for 3 days and crashed a car.
Yeah. So doing what you do isn't as easy as you make it look. So I want people to know that you're good at your job and you make it look easy, but we're not all cut out for it. We crash stuff.
I'll give you a KETV car story real quick here. 2014. 2014 Wisconsin game where Melvin Gordon just goes off.
I was there. I was there.
It was in Madison, and the snow it's downpour snow. And Andy Kendi and the station, they're pulling out of the garage, and they just get absolutely smoked by a car.
No.
In the snow. And it was Bo Pelini's brother.
No.
Carl?
No, not Carl. One of the
He's got another one?
Yeah, he got, but it was an accident, obviously. But it's like it was a rough moment.
What was he doing there? Was he just
If
in
I
town
remember
for
right,
the
the
game?
car was undrivable.
A couple of thoughts. One, what are your thoughts on the stadium renovation?
I mean, it's needed. Think about this. The South Stadium was built in 1964, and they've done zero improvements to it.
Right.
Is it safe?
Well, it collapsed once in 94.
Oh, yeah. Dude. Oh, my gosh.
Like,
Yeah, like the front end kind of sunk in. But it wasn't during a game, thankfully.
When Bill Byrne got here, that happened right when he got here. It went 12 years without being safety inspected.
That's insane.
I mean,
how is that? That's clearly not legal.
Were we winning a lot? Is that why? Was it we were good? So
we'll take care of it later.
It's concrete. I mean, the saddest part about the South Stadium being gone, though, is you're gonna no more urinal troughs.
Oh man, I love peeing on crickets.
I love seeing 5 dudes all in a row just peeing into a horse trough.
I remember my first time being a younger and guys going peeing on bugs. I was like, wow, I love sports.
Well, the busiest bar in the stadium used to be the South Stadium bathroom. I mean, it was like a mixed. People would go down there and mix their drink. You go in the bathroom stall and it was just full of airplane bottles everywhere.
Incredible. Now we sell $47 beers in the stadium. And then the last thought would be, Husker fans get down, we get negative, but on this show we try to be positive. You, as a person who knows more than anyone else, you see behind the scenes. What are some of your honest thoughts on this year's Husker team? Things we can look forward to, things you're excited about.
I'm excited about Calandria because I do think he fits in well, and he's one of the guys. And Dylan, I felt came in with so much pressure to be a certain person, and it worked for a while, but then it became harder for it to all work. I think Calandria has experienced, and I just think he's one of the guys that fits in well. I love the O-line additions that they brought in. I think they had to improve that. They brought in 3 starters. They brought in a new O-line coach. And I think the scheme, now that they're a 4-2-5, they were 3-3-5, but they ran a lot of 4-man front. I think 60% of what they did was 4-man front last year. But I just think there's going to be more of an emphasis on this new scheme that should fit their personnel better and whatnot. But yeah, they've got to go 5-0 in my opinion to really get this thing where you want it. It's set up for them to go 5-0, and I feel like when they build these Big Ten schedules, they almost do it by design. They're like, all right, we'll get Nebraska to 5-0. If they can beat Michigan State and Maryland, then we're gonna get a TV rating off Nebraska to play Indiana and Oregon, because we don't want Indiana and Oregon to play like Michigan and Ohio State early.
Right.
But we'll steal a rating from Nebraska. And so those 2 games will be big. I think Indiana, I still believe they're kind of an unknown with what they've lost.
And imagine if we're the first team to upset them after that.
I'm terrified.
Could
Sean.
be the game.
My girlfriend is an Indiana grad, and we're talking about coming back for that game, and that just terrifies me. I'm like, if we're 5-0 going into Indiana, I absolutely cannot watch us lose in front of my girlfriend.
We won't. We're going to win.
We have to win.
With our luck, they'll make it at 11. But if that's a night game, it'd be pretty.
And the O-line's working, and
Calandria's scampering around, slinging it. I think I'm excited for him too. I think he just fits better with Dylan, who just didn't have the mobility. He couldn't move around.
Yeah. Not a lot of off script, because a lot of football is off script. I mean, sometimes the play in the pocket works perfect, but a lot of times you've got to improvise and move, and he could do that to a level, but it wasn't his strength, Dylan. And I do think Calandria off script can give this offense some bigger plays that maybe we were missing. I mean, think about this, guys. The last 3 games of the year, Iowa, Utah, Penn State, Nebraska only completed 6 passes that traveled 10-plus yards.
God. That's disgusting.
That makes me physically ill.
Yeah, I mean, well, it was hard to watch, and then I actually went through the data this week to look at that again. I'm like, how many passes? Because Pro Football Focus lays it all out, passes that traveled 20-plus, 10-plus. So 6 total passes that were 10-plus yards. That was it.
I really wanted to figure it out. I really like Rhule. I like the staff. I hope they figure it out. I want good things.
Yeah, I don't want to be sitting here a year from now talking about like what are we going to pivot to next again. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
We
do
can't.
it.
We have to spend the $600 million on the stadium. We can't be firing people. Also, is it nerve-wracking in there in the presser? You ever get nervous asking questions? I'd kind of get nervous.
No, I mean, sometimes it's just nerve-wracking to try to get your question in. I mean, you might have like three people. Some places do the hand raise, grab the mic. Like at Nebraska, it's kind of like
just blurt.
Everyone's trying to order a sandwich at the counter at one time.
and they're all starving. Roast beef, provolone.
And some of the old school guys will just like, I'm keeping my head down. I'm yelling through everybody. Like, and they're just.
We notice sometimes people power through.
Oh yeah, you just got to power through on that. But no, I don't get. I've been doing this so long. I had to interview Sue a couple of weeks ago. Lincoln Chamber of Commerce had an event with 1,200 people in Pinnacle Bank Arena, and my good friend Brooke works for the chamber, and they just said, "Would you do this interview?" And I had to interview Sue for 50 minutes.
Jesus.
Whoa.
It was just him and I on a stage on a couch, and I was prepared. They had prepared material, and I had prepared material. But he's not an easy guy to chat with for 50 minutes. But it was awesome. We did it was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
He seems very intense. I follow him on Instagram, so I see he's a very business oriented man. So I feel like there's not a lot of personality, at least in what he presents.
No, yeah, he's no nonsense. He's always been that way.
Right. Yeah, but God bless him. Greatest we've ever had.
All right, well, everybody, Sean Callahan.
Sean Callahan, everybody, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe. Go follow Husker Online.
Go watch Husker Online. You're already on this show. Go over to Husker Online. Get in the super chat. Send them $500.